Today we've got the voice of Coastal Carolina football and the face of Coastal Carolina football, but they're here to score points for babies. Who are they? You'll meet them coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Holiday Inn West on the Waterway, right next door to the brand new Hard Rock Park. We're focused on tomorrow's March for Babies to be held at Brooks Stadium at Coastal Carolina University. And we're visiting with the honorary chairman and one of the parents of part of the ambassador family from Coastal Carolina University, Coach David Bennett and Matt Hogue. Matt, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Pleasure, Greg. Good to see you.
Coach Bennett, real exciting. Of course, this is not your first time involved with the March for Babies, but hopefully won't be your last either. Tremendous celebration, obviously, for you all, Matt. A lot of this, it being your first year as an ambassador family, your entire family involved. A real exciting time leading up to tomorrow's March.
Well, it's a privilege, Greg, to be able to tell our story and explain to folks how March of Dimes can change lives, how it can impact a life, how it can impact and change the life of a child that's either born premature or born with a defect. And it was an experience we never expected to happen to us, but it did. And we went through a lot of trial, a lot of tribulation, but I think the infrastructure that the March of Dimes over many, many years has created through its efforts and through fundraising helped us have a happy ending.
Absolutely. We want to sure talk about the story since you're willing to share it with viewers. But for Coach Bennett, as the honorary chairman, this must be your fourth or fifth year as the honorary chairman. And obviously, as we were originally doing out at the pavilion year after year after year, and then last year, a very successful move to Coastal Carolina University. What was that like for you, having been involved as long as you have been?
Well, you know, for us, with our daughter Hayes, she was just a month early, so weighed a little bit over 5 pounds. So we didn't go through anything like a lot of parents with children that are born weighing 1 pound, 2 pound, 3 pound, or like Matt and Laura with Caroline, to come into the world with so many things and had to have the transplant and so many prayers. And I met a lady the other day that used to work at a place where Matt, as the voice of the Chanticleers, came across, and she says, "Tell Matt I still pray for Caroline every day."
Wow.
And so I know when I go through my prayer time, I've got the Hogue family and Caroline every single day. So it's awesome to see miracle children, and that's what we call Caroline, and a lot of babies that live and go through, as Matt says, the trials and tribulations and the toughness, and just to put yourself in their shoes of what they went through and what parents go through. If you can't help babies that can't help themselves, who can you help?
Those are great words. Those are great words, and that really drives it all home. And you highlight of course, there's another ambassador family, and you highlight those weights: 1 pound, 14 ounces, Jabrell Chisholm and his family having to go through that. Fortunately, your daughter was virtually full term. Is that correct?
She was, Greg, but she had a significant birth defect that affected her smooth muscle ability, and that affected several organs, the most life-threatening of which was her small bowel. And without the function of her small bowel, she would not have lived very long at all. And after being in the NICU for many, many days, about 45 days, back in 2005, and going through several surgeries literally within the first 3 weeks of life, it became clear the only thing we could do was pursue a transplant of the small bowel, and that eventually occurred out in Nebraska at the University of Nebraska Medical Center, of all places, in September of 2006, and she's recovered nicely from that. And her quality of life now is exponentially better than it was supposed to be because of the outlook and the diagnosis. And all of those facilities and all the infrastructure that was in place, there's no doubt those things would not have been available without the cumulative work of the March of Dimes over all these decades of building NICUs and supporting NICUs and giving doctors research grants and opportunities to learn more about what afflicts children and why they're born premature and with defects.
Absolutely. You know, and so much has to happen, obviously, as you say, on the research side. We think about back to 1938. We've heard that. I mean, we're celebrating 70 years, a real push there for them year after year. And clearly their first push, I think you said, was polio.
Right.
And obviously overcoming polio and then figuring out both babies and prematurity, a real issue to push behind. And we've seen that momentum. Just yesterday, Karen and Wendy were with us, highlighting from Lakewood and from PD Elementary the efforts that their kids, the students go through, and the level of interest that the kids have, knowing that babies are involved, that they're helping babies. You've seen that in the eyes of not only your own children, but in the eyes of a lot of the students that you've been to see.
Yeah, and I think, you've got a good heart. It doesn't matter what age you are. People want to help kids. If it's a child helping a child, or, young adults, older folks. But we really thank all the volunteers, all the people that give. It's neat to watch the different teams come, their T-shirts, the team captains, the work that they do. So it's great to watch it grow, and the goal keeps growing too. And in our economy today, it's tough for a lot of people to give, but that old saying is I think the more you give, the more you're blessed in return.
Absolutely.
And so we appreciate all you do. You're involved in so many charities, and I know what you do. A lot of people know what you do, and we appreciate you.
Thank you. Well, Coach, it's not me. It's surely all the folks around me that make that happen, and surely no one can do it on their own. But that point, it drives home for everyone. The more you give, the more you get back. And we saw that last year with a $290,000 goal, a big new home, Coastal Carolina University. What would folks do if they're not out of the pavilion walking out on the beach? Well, they came through not only with $290,000, with $30,000 more than that. And this year, where the goal has jumped up to $365,000, a lot has to happen, but a lot has happened well before now to make tomorrow's march successful. Folks will be out at 9 a.m., I think, for the registration. Right. 9 a.m. out there. Give them a sense of why Coastal, or the setting there, that environment for folks. So what are they going to do if they've never been to a walk and they're coming out tomorrow morning for the first time?
Well, when they tore down the rides and all there at the pavilion, they had to have a place to go. Yeah. And so Joe Fisher, was her brainchild. She spoke with our president, then Ron Engel. And we just thought, what a great place to have it. You can have it in the football stadium, begin it there, walk our campus, and end up back there.
Oh, yeah.
And the neat thing is, afterwards, too, we have a punt, pass, and kick.
Yes, very
March
popular.
of Dimes, punt, pass, and
was
kick.
Pumping that up on Wednesday.
And our players are going to be there, and our coaches, and got it divided into different age groups. So even if you hadn't registered with a team, come on out to the walk, participate in the March of Dimes, punt, pass, and kick, and just have a great time. There'll be a lot of food out there. They have blow-ups. It's just a good time to appreciate what we do have and try to help others that are less fortunate.
You drive home that point about volunteers. So many volunteers working together to make it happen, whether it's ambassador families, whether it's honorary chairmen, whether it's folks like Ryan Swain who are working month after month. You remember Dennis Wade and all of his efforts, and all the committee chairs, but the team captains. It's amazing. Crystal on Wednesday drove home that point that 93 cents of every dollar in South Carolina raised goes right back into research, into education, into grants in these communities that go back for myriad aspects of, we try to think through what are all the things that are impacted during the early stages of birth.
Well, and Greg, I personally think when you look at the area where we are now, and it's such a quickly growing metropolitan area, it's going to continually put strains on all the services that are available to the public, and the medical field is not immune to that. And the March of Dimes and other organizations that work hard to improve and enhance that area are critical because with so many people moving in, so many new people building homes. I mean, we see the influx of new residents every day. To be able to keep up and provide world-class services, it's critical that the March of Dimes is supported in the manner that it is, because you can't have a great community or a great metropolitan area without, having those world-class services. So I see it, as a way to continue to improve the community, aside from obviously the direct impact it has on, children that are born with these issues.
Got to give credit to a great writer out of the Laura Scene, Etty Newlands, who had highlighted in a great interview with you back in February your goals just in that. When you highlighted that your wife for 45 days was with Caroline there in a NICU and a neonatal intensive care unit, and the idea of potentially having an opportunity to have one right here in the Grand Strand.
That's a big goal of ours. You know, Laura and I have seen a lot of different aspects of the medical environment. We've seen it in different states, different hospitals. Right. We've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, I guess you could say, of the medical profession. And one thing that was difficult for us is we had to initially be in Columbia for 45 days. And then obviously we went to Nebraska, and she and Caroline stayed there for 10 months. We were in a position, we were blessed, fortunately, with the support of Coach Bennett, Coastal Carolina, my employer, who was tremendous during that period, and everyone there. Our church at Kingston Presbyterian did an amazing job supporting us. We were fortunate to have a support system that allowed us to go to Nebraska, go to Columbia, wherever we had to go. But we're realistic. Not a lot of folks may have that opportunity. Right. They may not be blessed in that manner. But wouldn't it be great to improve the medical facilities here in our own backyard?
Absolutely.
I mean, we've got all the hotels in the world. We've got all the entertainment options you can find. But when it comes to medical services, where do you go? If you had something you needed to do for a specialty, you're probably not going to stay in Myrtle Beach.
I'd have to be in the PD or in Charleston.
Exactly. So why not make it happen right here in our own backyard? And I think that also can speak to some of the economic development concerns that our area has had for years and years and years.
You talked about the prayers of your own, the prayers of even the woman you met who knows Matt. Clearly the athletic department and the University of Red Hole having a wrap around Matt and his family during the time. To think about a 10-month period, of course, Matt couldn't be there the whole time. I saw even in that great piece the highlight that he was at home with Rachel and having to maintain the role to keep her straight. But
there were so many people that came to the Hogue's, I guess, rescue as a family. And I remember Melinda Hyman, I remember Dwayne Beam and his wife would keep Rachel, and Matt had to do radio shows and do ball games. And I remember we had a golf tournament for Carolina, and mainly for Matt and Laura, to help them financially. But this community really rallied behind that. I got a call from Bob Sweezy with Burrs and Chapin saying, "We're bringing 3 or 4 teams. What can we do to help?" And so it's neat to see that people have a good heart and that they will help. They will help when someone's in need.
Absolutely. You highlighted a great idea about folks just coming out if they didn't set up a team beforehand.
Doesn't
Crystal
matter.
on Wednesday highlighted that folks could set up a team on Wednesday. They could set up a team yesterday. They could set up a team today, or they can come to the walk tomorrow and then set up a team and continue to raise dollars until the end of the calendar year, until the end of December, and keep raising dollars.
Crystal's got a tough job.
Yeah.
She's following Joe Fisher. And we all know how Joe Fisher was. You could not tell Joe no.
Right.
It didn't matter what she wanted. She had a way.
Yeah.
And Crystal, I tell her all the time, she's filling some big shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Because we were blessed to have Joe Fisher here.